Voice acting. It's one of the best ways to earn money without having to change out of your sweatpants. And for the cast of Family Guy, you won't believe how good they look when they do. Sometimes it pays to be the man in charge. In an interview with Time, Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane explained that casting himself in the show was less of an ego trip and more of a necessity thanks to a lack of funds to hire voice actors. It also allowed him another way to imprint his vision of the show's comedic tone. There was a very specific vocal and delivery style that I was after. It was just easier to do it myself. MacFarlane was able to do tons of imprinting thanks to him voicing the show's most popular main characters: Griffin family patriarch Peter, their alcoholic family dog Brian, and super genius toddler Stewie. While Brian more or less sounds like MacFarlane's actual voice, Peter and Stewie are based on a Rhode Island School of Design security guard and Rex Harrison, respectively.
Brian, a pie tastes better with Cool Whip.
What?
I said a pie tastes better with Cool Whip.
Cool Whip?
Yes, Cool Whip.
While raking in royalties and utilizing his voice box is where MacFarlane makes his money, he also occasionally hops in front of the camera as well, most notably in his television series, The Orville, but also in films like A Million Ways to Die in the West and Logan Lucky. Speaking about how she got the part of Lois in Family Guy, former Mad TV cast member Alex Borstein said in an interview with TV Guide, "One of the people who was developing Family Guy said, 'Hey, can you help us out with this pilot presentation?' I said, 'Sure.' It was really sight unseen because I hadn't met Seth or seen any artwork yet. Turns out when you bring enough skill to earn a Primetime Emmy Award for your performance, you don't need to meet the man in charge beforehand."
I do the groceries, Alana. You won't like me when I'm groceries.
Not only did Borstein earn the award for Outstanding Voiceover Performance in 2018, but the same year, she also took home her first award for Outstanding Supporting Actress for her role in The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. While Mrs. Maisel may have reintroduced Borstein to a whole new audience, if you happen to watch TV with your eyes closed, you can certainly hear the inflections of Lois Griffin in certain scenes featuring Susie.
Hey, what part of I'm in here taking a don't you understand?
The inspiration behind Seth Green's voice for Chris Griffin comes from an unsettling source, especially since Chris himself tends to be a pretty innocent character.
How are all your business trips?
Oh, exemplary, Chris.
I don't understand what either of those words mean.
One of them was Chris.
During a panel for Family Guy at PaleyFest in 2010, Green explained that after some experimentation, the voice he landed on was inspired by serial killer and dance aficionado Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Voiceover work seems to suit Green. He's voiced tons of characters on Robot Chicken, the stop-motion animated series that he co-created, and he's provided the voice of Howard the Duck in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as Joker in the Mass Effect video games. In front of the camera, Green is probably most recognizable for his role in the Austin Powers film trilogy as Scott, the disobedient son of Dr. Evil. But he's got a deep and diverse filmography, ranging from Buffy the Vampire Slayer to the final episode of Community. Surprisingly, the biggest star in the cast of Family Guy voices the character who gets the most disrespect, and people aren't afraid to let her hear about it.
The one thing that I get the most of is "Shut Up, Meg" on the street.
Mila Kunis wasn't the original voice of Meg. She landed an audition for Family Guy based on her performance as Jackie in that '70s show, eventually replacing original voice actor Lacey Chabert after the first season. Seth MacFarlane told the crowd at PaleyFest, "Mila would kind of walk on stage and just sort of naturally take over a scene. That kind of evolved into Meg sort of becoming this very resentful Jan Brady sort of character." Kunis has also lent her voice to shows like Robot Chicken, as well as the animated films Wonder Park and Hell and Back. But she is unquestionably more well known for her on-screen roles.
Bad Moms 1 and 2 are available on most streaming platforms?
Don't do that, Mila. Not on this show.
Kunis has gone on to become a bona fide movie star, landing leading roles in films like Black Swan, the Bad Moms film series, and Ted, where she reunited with MacFarlane. Mike Henry met Seth MacFarlane in their college years, well before Family Guy, and ended up being one of the first people called to not only voice act, but join the show's writing staff. Henry's voices include beloved side characters Herbert the Pervert, Bruce, and the greased-up deaf guy. But his biggest contribution was creating and voicing Cleveland Brown, Peter's neighbor and drinking buddy. Henry told the University of Rochester's Campus Times in 2008, "I based Cleveland off of a guy I met playing basketball who pronounced Maryland like Merlin. He had a funny voice and I started mimicking him."
To the Cleveland copter! The mustache obscures my view!
In response to the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020, Henry stepped down from voicing Cleveland to allow the character to be played by a person of color, but he's remained a close collaborator of MacFarlane's. In addition to voicing characters on all his shows and making cameos in his films, Henry also donned extensive prosthetics to play Lieutenant Dan, an alien on MacFarlane's live-action show The Orville. Patrick Warburton may be a familiar face to viewers. He's appeared in projects like Seinfeld, The Tick, and a series of unfortunate events, but it's his voice that would make him immediately recognizable to anyone listening.
Come on, Joe, you're losing them. Think of something. This was your shot. 2/3 of the planet is water.
Yeah.
When it came to his Family Guy role as Joe Swanson, though, there was a bit of an awkward situation with his dear old mother. She just so happened to be a part of the American Television Council, which was trying to get the show canceled, despite the fact that Warburton was helping to support his parents with his Family Guy paychecks. He told People magazine, "She tried to get me to sign the petition to cancel the show. I said, 'Mom, if you don't think I'm going to talk about this publicly, this is the greatest irony. You're laundering money. You're laundering it to yourself.' They hate it more today." But it appears the apple hasn't fallen too far from the tree. A devout Catholic himself, Warburton's spoken out against some of the more sacrilegious moments on the show and has even refused to do certain scenes. Outside of Family Guy, you can catch Warburton's voice in projects like The Emperor's New Groove and B-Movie, and Warburton himself most recently in Unfrosted. If you're looking for the only Family Guy cast member with an Oscar nomination, look no further than the woman behind Joe Swanson's wife, Bonnie. In addition to her nomination in 1995 for Best Supporting Actress in Bullets Over Broadway, Jennifer Tilly has appeared in other 90s classics like Bound and Liar Liar. She also originated the character of Tiffany Valentine in Bride of Chucky, which she still reprises decades later. Despite being a proven voice actor, Tilly's only contribution to Family Guy is voicing Bonnie, who for the first 7 seasons was heavily pregnant. Since Bonnie's finally had the baby, Tilly said she's excited to show her acting chops a little bit.
Lois, I came here to have an affair.
An affair? With who?
Anyone?
A co-creator of New York-based comedy troupe and prank call extraordinaires The Jerky Boys, Johnny Brennan looked to his family tree for inspiration with his character, Mort Goldman, specifically his mother.
No, don't hurt me, you bastard!
Mort, give me the paper!
No, I'm reading it in here. You can have the real estate section.
Mort isn't the only character that Brennan voices on Family Guy, but he is the only one still alive after Horace, the bartender of the Drunken Clam, was killed off in season 11. Perhaps the oddest credit Brennan has in his filmography is appearing with his fellow Jerky Boys in the music video for Mariah Carey's song Honey. Who knew that Mariah was a fan of prank phone calls? Rachael MacFarlane may not be a Nepo baby per se, but she is a Nepo sibling. Outside of providing the voice for over 100 characters on her older brother's show, Rachel's credits include roles on Johnny Bravo, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and Codename Kids Next Door. More notably in the MacFarlane universe, she voices Haley Smith on American Dad, as well as a supercomputer on The Orville. Among her vast array of characters on Family Guy, her most notable role is perhaps as the toddler Olivia, Stewie's rival and occasional love interest.
We probably would have shaved a few minutes off our trip, but Mr. Cheapo here refused to let the valet touch his big wheel, so we had to drive around the block 6 times till we could find a spot.
MacFarlane also voiced Meg Griffin in the original pilot pitch of Family Guy before she was recast for the series proper, perhaps because she didn't want to be told to shut up all the time. As expected, MacFarlane has her brother to thank for her career in voice acting. She told FilmSpeak that she turned to working in animation after feeling directionless post-college, saying, "I was going to try doing some singer-songwriter stuff, and he was the one who said, 'You have a really great voice and you're a great actor. You should try voice acting. I think you'd be good at it.' I had never even thought of it." Even though he's kept busy behind the scenes as a writer and executive producer on Family Guy, Danny Smith has found the time to voice over 200 characters throughout the series. While Smith doesn't have any major roles on the show, you'll likely recognize him as the voice of several anthropomorphic characters, including Ernie the Giant Chicken, the Evil Monkey, and the sadomasochistic cow. As far as non-animal characters go, Smith's voice is probably most recognizable as Al Harrington, owner of Al Harrington's wacky waving inflatable arm-flailing tube man emporium.
Hi, I'm Al Harrington, president and CEO of Al Harrington's wacky waving inflatable arm-flailing tube man emporium and warehouse.
Funny enough, Smith didn't have high expectations going into Family Guy. He told a Fox reporter at SCAD TV Fest, "When I met Seth MacFarlane, he was 24 years old. I was 38, and I thought, what is this? This is crazy that I'm being interviewed by this kid. And I told my agent, well, I'll take it, and then maybe next year I'll get on another real show. and I've been there ever since. Character development. Good for the audience, sometimes bad news for the voice actor. Lori Allen used to have a big role on Family Guy as Diane Simmons, Quahog's co-anchor alongside Tom Tucker.
You might even get a cheap laugh or two.
I know I will, Tom. In fact, there's the distinct possibility that by the end of the day, we'll all be going to hell.
The character's journey took a surprising turn in Season 9's premiere episode, And Then There Were Fewer, a parody of murder mysteries in which Diane is revealed to be the culprit before being killed off by Stewie. Fear not for Allen's career, though, as her live-action work includes appearances in hit shows like Shameless, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and Friends. She's also gotten voice acting work on another beloved long-running animated series as Mr. Krabs' daughter Pearl in SpongeBob SquarePants. Her other voice acting roles range from various Pixar movies to the Metal Gear Solid video games. And that voice acting career is all thanks to Seth MacFarlane. Allen told Verite Entertainment, he was graduating from Rhode Island School of Design. He won something where he could do a pilot at Hanna-Barbera, and so the lovely Chris Zimmerman brought me in to do some voices with him, so it was just Seth and I.
Howdy, it's me, Cleveland Brown. The new voice of Cleveland Brown. Hey everyone, I'm Arif Zahir.
Mike Henry stepping down as the voice of Cleveland Brown opened the door for Arif Zahir, one of the rare people on the show with no personal or professional relationship with Seth MacFarlane. In fact, the only connection Zahir had with the show was as a fan. In a video for the show's YouTube channel, he said, "Around high school, I fell in love with Family Guy, and whenever the teacher left the classroom, every kid would look at me and go, 'Do the Family Guy voices.'" After his impressions were discovered on his YouTube channel, Zahir was invited to audition for the role of Cleveland, and he didn't waste the opportunity. He's since appeared in over 40 episodes of the show, as well as episodes of American Dad and Robot Chicken. Zahir has been embraced by the Family Guy fanbase, but to be honest, if you had no knowledge of Henry's departure, it's likely you never even noticed the change.